Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we're diving into the deeply psychological reasons why mastering your morning reflection is literally the key to mastering your destiny. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this because we're looking at something that fundamentally shifts how we understand self-care. We're going to explore the profound teachings of Carl Jung, and he shows us exactly why the way you present yourself to the world, it isn't just a matter of vanity. It's actually a profound reflection of your inner psyche. So let's kick things off with a somewhat uncomfortable question. When was the last time you truly looked at yourself in the mirror and felt genuine admiration? Not just seeing a face, but seeing a force of life, a being in full command of their essence. I want you to ask yourself this honestly. Because if your answer is a long time ago, or maybe even never, then what we're covering today is specifically for you. Jung believed that the psyche constantly seeks wholeness, and that everything external in your life actually mirrors what's happening inside you. So, a reflection that no longer inspires you? That's a huge, glaring sign that your inner self is being neglected. And that brings us to Carl Jung's profound insight. He said, "Your outer appearance is a direct reflection of your inner world, and if you cannot master what you see in the mirror each morning, you will never master your destiny." These words completely shatter the comforting illusion that how we present ourselves, especially as we get older, moving into our 40s, 50s, and beyond, is merely a matter of vanity. Jung actually discovered a universal pattern here. When your outer image is aligned with your inner truth, life just begins to flow. It stops being a constant battlefield and becomes more like a symphony. Section 1. The illusion of vanity. We really need to unpack why dismissing how you look is actually dodging personal responsibility, rather than wearing some noble badge of humility. The narrator of our source material, who's this highly successful 52-year-old traveling the world sharing his work, well, he learned this the hard way. One night, his wife showed him a photo taken during one of his lectures, and he was completely shocked. He saw a man who looked exhausted, totally drained, and disconnected from his own vitality. Right then and there, he realized his neglected exterior was completely contradicting the mastery and discipline he was teaching everyone else. So he made a firm decision to treat his appearance as an extension of his integrity. It's literally an act of responsibility toward the energy you transmit to the rest of the world. Section 2. The Science of Alignment. Now, this shift from seeing appearance as superficial vanity to viewing it as a core responsibility isn't just nice philosophy. It's actually backed by hard neuroscience and the concept of psychological resonance. Think about it. Every single time you look in the mirror, your brain is doing an unconscious comparison. It matches the physical image it sees right in front of you with the mental image you hold of yourself. When those two align, boom, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. You feel capable, alive, and super confident. But when there's dissonance, when you see a version of yourself that totally contradicts who you believe you are, your brain actually interprets that as an existential threat. No kidding. It releases cortisol, which is the hormone of stress and defeat. This is exactly why on days you feel great about how you look, opportunities just seem to appear effortlessly. You're operating from a true state of inner order. Section 3. The Identity Wardrobe. So how do we transform that psychological dissonance into alignment? It starts with your mental wardrobe, treating your clothing not just as fabric, but as symbolic energy. Let's look at how this works in practice with a few real-life case studies. Take Roberto, for example. His office was cluttered, he'd gained about 20 kilos, and his deals had completely stalled. But after a personal rebirth audit, where he dedicated his first waking hour purely to his body and image, he actually lost 8 kilos, closed 2 major deals, and completely transformed his confidence. Then there's Alina. She felt invisible after losing a job she had for 20 years. But by straightening her posture and updating her wardrobe, she didn't just find a new job, she started her own successful consultancy, practically glowing. And Jose, a 58-year-old bank manager who kept getting passed over for promotions because his neglected appearance signaled a loss of ambition. Once he adopted a senior professional aesthetic, he got promoted and even became a mentor. By using their morning routines as powerful rituals of empowerment instead of annoying obligations, they absolutely transformed their professional and personal lives. I love this quote. It came from an incredibly successful woman at a conference who had everything right on paper but confessed she felt exhausted and defeated every time she looked in the mirror. She took this whole philosophy to heart, and within 6 months, her eyes were glowing with purpose. When someone asked her what changed, she said these exact words. "I finally decided to look like the woman I always felt I was inside." It perfectly captures the point. Your appearance doesn't hide who you are. It reveals who you have chosen to become. Section 4. Spirals of Self-Image. Here is the honest truth. You are never in a neutral state. Your daily choices are actively feeding either an upward or a downward spiral of consciousness. Think of the upward spiral like this. When you care for yourself, you feel better. And when you feel better, your actions naturally improve and produce much better results, which then accelerates your growth. It's a beautiful cycle. But the downward spiral? It's the exact opposite. Self-neglect makes you feel worse, your actions decline, your results suffer, and the disconnect from your authentic self just deepens. It's a slow fade. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is, which spiral are you feeding today? Section 5, Rituals of Self-Respect. You absolutely guarantee you are staying on that upward spiral? We can actually distill Carl Jung's teachings into 5 highly actionable daily rituals, the 5 keys to inner order. First up is the mirror principle. That means making 30 full seconds of eye contact with yourself each morning. Not to nitpick or judge, but to genuinely connect. Second, the 10-minute investment. Consciously dedicate just 10 extra minutes to your physical presentation. This literally proves to your subconscious that you matter, and it completely alters your mood for the next 24 hours. Third, set a personal standard and never let it slip, even when you're all alone. Fourth, adopt the 1% philosophy. Just aim to improve your energy or appearance by a tiny 1% each day. And finally, the multiplier effect. This is realizing that your cultivated self-respect acts like a magnet, silently pulling in success, connection, and vitality from everyone you meet. If you want to put this into practice immediately, try the 5-minute mirror audit tonight before you go to sleep. Look right in the mirror and be brutally honest with yourself using these 4 questions. Number 1, does this reflect who I want to become? Number 2, what 3 things can I improve immediately? Number 3, what self-care habit am I avoiding? And number 4, what is my silent message to the world? Really sit with those, because true transformation only kicks off when we are brave enough to face our truth without any masks. And to build a truly multidimensional awareness of your self-image, you can use what's called the ritual of the 3 mirrors every single day. First, you check the literal mirror. That's simply examining your outer physical appearance. Then, the emotional mirror. Ask yourself, does my exterior reflect my ideal emotional state today? And finally, the aspirational mirror. Does this look actually bring me closer to the person I wish to become? By consulting these 3 mirrors daily, you're making sure your aesthetic is successfully working as a powerful psychological language. Now, the best part is you don't need to wait for Monday or wait until you lose weight to get started. You can begin building your upward spiral today with 3 highly precise, symbolic actions. Action 1, donate or throw away just 1 unaligned piece of clothing that no longer serves who you are becoming. Just get rid of it. Action 2, add 15 extra minutes to your morning routine for the next week strictly to invest in your evolving image. And action 3, take a full-body reference photo today, not to criticize yourself, please don't do that, but keep it for a 90-day comparison. These might sound like small acts, but in the language of the psyche, they are massive signals. I want you to really absorb this. My appearance is an investment in my future, not an expense in my present. Honestly, write that truth down and read it out loud to yourself. We have to recognize that maturity, whether you're hitting 40, 50, 60, or beyond, is absolutely not an excuse for neglect. It's actually a profound reason to define what powerful, quiet confidence looks like. You aren't competing with youth anymore. You're expressing wisdom, depth, and stability. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a vital question to chew on. What version of yourself have you been hiding behind a neglected exterior? Think about the opportunities that might have slipped by simply because your outside wasn't reflecting your inside. Make the decision right now to stop underestimating yourself. Remember, motivation comes after action, not before it. Start honoring your potential today by presenting the truly extraordinary person you are to the whole world. Because when the internal and external meet in harmony, you are entirely reborn. So what's stopping you from starting your upward spiral right now?